Okay. Okay, here we go. There. Okay, start. Just bear with me a minute. Hi, everybody. Just double checking everything's going, working. Okay, let's see. Sun. Yes. Okay. All right. Hi. Happy Halloween. Really, Halloween's supposed to be at 15 degrees of Scorpio, at the exact middle point of Scorpio, which is in a couple of days more than it is right now. Usually it's on about the 3rd. It's just a mix-up between the original Wiccan calendar being lined up to the Zodiac and the seasons, and the Christian calendar coming in and getting out of line, not being exactly aligned with the seasons. Okay. Anyways, just finishing that. The Halloween middle of Scorpio represents the death of the necessary death of the individual ego, of freedom, of independence, so that one can put oneself and be able to compromise and work with other people and give them importance, to put our energies together so that we can survive through the cold and difficult winter. So it's a natural process and it's an inner process, but it does represent the trust needed to surrender, to trust someone, to be able to work with people, to make commitments. It's kind of the essence of teamwork. Okay. There's no business without trust, no relationships without trust, or if there are, they're not good ones. So, little touch of Scorpio. Okay, today we have to deal with the sun. And the sun, it's probably the most important point in astrology and the least understood, or the least given its proper emphasis and its proper position. The sun is huge. The sun's this huge medicine ball, and if you made the sun like a huge medicine ball, you could hold it balanced on one hand, but you could close your hand around all the other planets together, and they would just disappear in your hand. They're so small compared to the sun. If you're looking at a chart on a page with 360 degrees, and you see how small each degree is on an 8.5 by 11 sheet. You see that little tiny bit of each degree. You take a pencil point and you touch the pencil point down. That's how big the biggest of planets would be. The sun and the moon would be about the size of about half a degree in terms of comparative experience. So we're taking these huge things in space and putting them down with this little symbol, this little drawing, where they're points, then we're adding symbols to them, and we're seeing these big symbols in these positions so we can read them. But it's easy to lose the proper emphasis or perspective on things. So like every planet, it takes time to get to know the sun. It's not time. Each planet, you know it one way, and you're so sure you know it now, and 6 months later, you say, oh, geez, it means this too. Oh, there's something new. They're always going to be growing. They're like beings that you're continually learning about, meeting, discovering, exploring, having experiences of, and you're increasing your matrix of experiential understanding of a planet. The longer you live, the more you study, the more you look at, the more experiences you relate to it. So astrology, it's a process of being, it's a process of becoming. I mean, the mechanics of itself, it's a language, and most of the exercises are grammar lessons. But when you're come into relationships of me, the universe around me, what it means, what it's all about, it's a process of steady becoming, of using this as a formula to gradually grow and increase your being and your presence and your matrix. So most people live in one planet at a time. We're get a memory, we're in our moon, we're thinking, then we're in our emotions, then we're in our actions, and we've got these things. We jump from one point of a chart to another. But eventually, as you get a little bit more wholesomely aligned through astrology, wholesomely aligned to life and your heart through astrology, the idea is to be all your 10 planets, be your sun, your moon, and your planets all at the same time, to have them all conscious and functional and interreacting like a band or a symphony. It's easy to say. It's a hard thing to go to. So when we look at the sun, when you talk about the sun in most of you read about it, oh, it's the creative power, it's your willpower, it's your purpose in life. There's a strength and a power there. That's kind of true, but it doesn't really express the function of it really that well. All the planets are moving around the sun. All the planets get their light and life from the sun, and they speed at different times and at different angles, and that creates the different types of seasons and the different textures of life. But so the Earth is one of the planets moving around. We're standing on the Earth, so we look at a horoscope and we see the sun. We're watching the sun going across the sky. Really, it's not the sun moving across the sky. It's the Earth turning, and the Earth's turning, and it appears from here like it's moving across the sky. The sun's being still, and it's us that's moving. It's moving around on it. So, but we do look from the Earth, and the Earth in astrology, if Mercury's, the moon is your memories, and Mercury is your mind, and your alertness, and Venus is your values and your choices and what you want, and your comfort zone or discomfort zone. The Earth is your physical body. It's your sense of separativeness. It's you, I'm me, I'm in my body, I'm different from everyone else. Okay, so that sense of separativeness is there in the Earth. But when we're looking from the Earth, from our sense of separateness, and our horoscope really showing how separate and how different we are from everybody, as we look at it, we see it reinforces our sense of separativeness. And there's a big work to do to be able to get to your sun. The sun's there. It's shining on every planet. It's shining on everybody. So there's yeah, the sun shines on all the planets, get exposed to the light and then turn around. So they're where we're on a planet, sometimes it's night, sometimes it's day. We get different degrees of light at different times, but the sun is just continuously radiating. There's no day or night for the sun. So the sun is really the most powerful, important point in our horoscope. It, just as it represents our heart. The heart's the most important organ in the body. Nothing works without the heart beating and the blood moving and the oxygen going through it and going through the lungs and that meeting with the blood, and it's being pumped. It's the main muscle. So how do you find your heart? Well, our heart's in our chest. We can physically have a location to it, but that's one thing. But try to find your heart in the world around you. I love someone. I found my heart. I'm radiant. I'm shining to someone. Wow. That level to find your heart in the world and interrelationships, huge challenge. And the manner in which you search, the manner in which your heart will search to be found or will strive to be experienced, that's your sun too, and the sign and the houses and the aspects. These are all factors that come in and affect this wanting to be, wanting to shine, wanting to be loving and radiant. So love as an attraction, repulsion, magnetism, emotions is Venus. Pure love and simple radiating warmth and being, that's the sun. It's not a different frequency. So love and hate, attraction, repulsion, that's a different thing. That's a more psychic, emotional state. But just simply radiating without duality, being without duality, that represents your sun. So in a way, we see it as our separativeness, we sort of see the earth on top of the sun, like we're standing on the earth. So we're born in our separateness, our separate body. We're breathing for ourselves. We're separate from the rest of the world. We're separated from our mother. We're separated, and we take our first breath, and that's the beginning of our independent life. Okay, so we have our independent life. It starts from then, our heart's beating, the sun's, it is pulsing in its own way. It rotates, it has its own orbit. But it's, we have to come from our physical blobbiness when we're born to be able to stand up, walk, function, get the mind, get emotion, get all these things loose. And then eventually, once we've expanded and experienced some of the frequencies of all the planets, we have to become conscious of it. And then we need to find our heart. Because without our heart shining properly, we can't direct our mind properly. We don't remember things properly. We can't even choose what we want properly if the planets aren't aligned to the sun first. So it can be said it's your heart, but it's also, it would represent the doorway to your soul, or the soul. Can't measure the soul. The soul is a oneness. What's the edge of one soul and the beginning of another? It's impossible to divide that. It's like a oneness. So the sun is like a gateway to our sense of oneness, which if we can get to, we become enlightened and have fulfilled the essential purpose of life, to be here, go through experiences, and be enlightened in the process and able to radiate love. It's a challenge. So the sun sits in your chart as this huge challenge. How are we going to reach up to it? How are we going to live up to it? And it's just functions at whatever level of consciousness you're at. There's a level that you're trying to find your confidence at. So just as the sun kind of reflects the earth, even though the earth represents a separativeness, on the lower levels, as we're working with our sun, as we're growing up with our sun in the world, the sun represents our ego. I'm so good. I'm too sexy for my hat. I'm just the best there is. Don't you notice me? Hey, Mom, look at me. Aren't I great? I'm alive. And then when we get a bit older, it's, hi, honey. Don't you love me? Aren't I great? Wasn't I great? I'm alive. So you never tell someone that your last boyfriend or girlfriend was better than the one you have now. It's a break. Oh, what do you mean I'm not the best? I'm not so good? Whoa. There's a collapse in the confidence or in the ego. So first we build our body, then we get our mind, we get our emotions. We're starting to build our body and our confidence up. And we get this every year. Every year is our birthday, one cycle of the earth around the sun, or as we see the sun going through the zodiac. And each time it's a new gong, it's a new level, a new layer of what's important, what's significant, what's going to build confidence, or what's not going to build confidence. What do I have yet to do, or what do I have to fix? You know, like, am I radiating, or am I just hesitating? So this puzzle of how to play, how to be, how to just shine unconditionally. We're doing it anyways, but sometimes we can be aligned with it and go with it, and sometimes we can be trying to negate our creative radiance. When we start negating our creative radiance, it starts damaging and putting stress and damaging our heart, which again affects our confidence and our life force. We're only here for a short period of time on the planet. I mean, each lifetime, traditionally it's 72 years, but it's a little bit, the average probably a little bit longer than that now, although it's hard to say, it's probably up a little bit from that. But